Hello. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Kalamazoo City Commission for Monday, December 2nd. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Here.
Commissioner Hess.
Here.
Commissioner Knott. Here. Commissioner Pradle.
Present.
Commissioner Urban.
Here.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. We do not have an invocation tonight, so we'll be saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So all please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here to our business meeting of the Kalamazoo City Commission. Our first item of business is adoption of the formal agenda. However, even though it's not on the agenda, just due to some special events, I guess unusual events, maybe I should put it that way, that occurred today, I'd like to have Chief Carrie-Ann Thomas come up and talk to us a little bit about that, if that's okay with everybody. Chief?
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update of what occurred last night and the condition of our officer. Unfortunately, we were involved in a situation assisting the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office, assisted by the Michigan State Police, in which 3 officers were shot, including one of our own. Officer Caleb Jones was shot in the left shoulder with non-life-threatening injuries. And additionally, they will not end his career. He was released from the hospital today, and they're going to monitor him before they do any more treatment. But I just want to thank everyone for all the support that we received, not only as an agency, but all the other jurisdictions. It was a very complex situation that did not end well for everyone. And KDPS, and I know the officers are mourning the loss of the victim from this incident last night. But I just wanted to make a few comments that in the last 48-hour time frame, we've had 4 officers shot in our region, 1 in Battle Creek and here in Kalamazoo, 3. And it's our 2nd officer this year that we've had shot. And it just brings to light the commitment of our public safety officers, the entire first responder community, that they're willing to go out and do this work. And I've spoke before about the struggles of getting public safety officers, but I think the ones that we have and the ones that serve this community are doing it with honor and courage and dedication. And I'd just like to thank all of them for everything that they do every day as they spent their holiday here in the city dealing with these incidents. And it just highlights not only what's going on in our community, but also with gun violence and that's affecting our entire community and all our residents. Thank you.
I'd like to take a moment just to follow up on that for a little bit. I did have an opportunity earlier today to do a little debriefing with the city manager and with the chief. And you know, we find ourselves in a situation where a very, very sad and unfortunate event has occurred doesn't happen to be in the city of Kalamazoo, but adjacent to us, where a young man who has a young child lost his life. And if you're talking about a couple things, which is a commitment to the work that you do, I think that our public safety officers demonstrate that in an unparalleled way. There were shots being fired. There was seemingly a hostage situation of some kind in a house, and we participated with the local law enforcement community, Sheriff's Department, and Michigan State Police, and were an integral part of attempting to address that situation. And, you know, just something in a way after just going through Thanksgiving and just thinking about families being together and the fact that we do have young men and women who are out every day risking their lives. And in this particular instance, inches is what made the difference between actually having an officer lose their life in attempting to save a life for someone that they did not know or know anything about, but were just running into the situation to do that. So I want to recognize all the men and women of public safety and the work that they do every day. Thank you, Chief, for bringing that forward. Now we're on to adoption of our formal agenda. Commissioners, you have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes you would like to see? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience here to speak on an item that's under the consent agenda? That's under item F. If so, you will need to ask that the item be moved to the regular agenda. Are there any such requests? Seeing none, communications. Jim, are there any communications?
Yeah, one item I want to remind everyone that next Monday at 5 p.m. Until 8 p.m. is our budget work session here at the community room in City Hall. So we will be reviewing the 2020 budget that was released last week, and look forward to a lot of discussion and sharing of information during that work session.
Manager Ritzma, could you remind us what time that session starts?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. in these chambers.
The community room.
In the community room, okay? And what if people want to look at the budget before that meeting? How can they access that?
It's available online at on the city's website.
Okay, should be easy to find. Any steps you have to go through, or?
Just navigate through. I don't know if it's on the front page, but should be pretty visible.
But it's out there now,
Yeah.
right? Okay, great. Next is the consent agenda. City Manager.
We have 6 items for approval this evening. First is the approval of a 3-year term contract with Continental Linen Services for industrial uniform rental and cleaning services for staff use within the Department of Public Services in the amount of $200,000 solely based on cost. Next is the approval of a purchase and installation of new sprinklers with Spartan Distributors for Eastern Hills Golf Course in the amount of $354,079.29. Next is the approval of a change order with SWT Excavating for the 2019 lead services replacement project in the amount of $700,000 for an additional 93 service line replacements. Next is the approval of a contract with Mall City Mechanical for HVAC upgrades at the Central Pumping Station and 4th floor at City Hall in the amount of $700,200, and approve a budget transfer of $70,000 from the general fund to the capital improvements fund. Next is the adoption of a resolution setting a public hearing on December 16, 2019 to receive comments on the proposed expansion of Industrial Development District Number 10 at 1421 North Pitcher Street. And finally, adoption of a resolution approving the purchase agreement with the Northside Association for Community Development for the parcel located at 447 West North Street for an affordable housing development.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, the requested action is to approve items 1 through 6 and authorize the city manager to sign all documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion? Motion is made by Commissioner Knott, supported by Commissioner Cunningham. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Commissioner Knott.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradle.
Yes, with just a point of information, I am co-hosting a fundraiser for the Tiny Houses of Hope pilot project on Sunday. I don't think that would cause any reason to recuse myself, but just wanted to make that known.
Commissioner Urban.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda are approved. City Manager Ritzma, do you have a report?
None, Your Honor.
City Attorney Robinson, any report? No, Your Honor. Clerk Borling report.
No, Your Honor.
Next on our agenda is the opportunity for citizen comments. Anyone wishing to address the City Commission on any topic should come to the podium, give your name and whether you live in the city. You will have 4 minutes to make your comments. And just to remind you, this is not a time when there is dialogue or discussion, so this is your opportunity to make your comments on any item, and we will listen, perhaps respond later, but at this time, this is not a time for dialogue. Is there anyone who wants to come forward? You can do it afterwards, but there's an opportunity to sign your name as well.
Hello, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is Gwendolyn Hooker. I am a Northside resident, and I would just like to formally and personally invite you folks to come to a Mingo for Shingos on December 8th. We are on to another month. December 8th, it is a event for a fundraiser. It's also an opportunity to come learn a lot more about the Tiny Houses of Hope pilot project, which is the affordable housing project that just got approved on the agenda. It is an event that's going to be held at the Lutheran Church of the Savior. It is being hosted by Commissioner Chris and Aaron Pradell, and we would like to invite everyone to come out. We have some flyers for folks, just as a gentle reminder. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is, I live at 533 West South Street, right down the street here. And my name is Remy Harrington. I'm here in a constituent capacity as a citizen, a personal, private citizen of Kalamazoo. I am the co-founder of Zoo City Farm and Food Network. And I am also the owner of Tegan's Hopeful Storybook Garden and Farm, which is named after my little daughter Tegan right there. And so now I'm going to read. I'm obviously very nervous. We are a group of neighborhood-based growers and representatives of the food industry ecosystem. Our goals are to secure a land inventory of appropriately zoned and vacant parcels of property that can be used for neighborhood-based economic development. Clearly defined processes for land acquisition of vacant, abandoned, and blighted parcels of property in neighborhoods throughout our city for the purposes of providing opportunities for equitable redevelopment, the remediation of vacant, abandoned, and blighted parcels of property because contamination is a hindrance to redevelopment, a stakeholder voice to develop a political ecology that is supportive of urban agriculture in our city that reflects the interests of residents that live in those neighborhoods, industry development that supports urban growers and advocacy of small, minority, disadvantaged-owned businesses, and business set-asides so that we can participate in institutional buying, and the integration of culturally autonomous processes and practices within institutions and governing entities as shared stakeholders, where we can participate in the applicability of development in the places where we lived. Our hope is to address the city, the Planning Commission, and in January to request an ordinance change that will allow for residentially zoned vacant parcels to allow for mixed and agricultural use. We hope to work collaboratively with the community to develop a language in the ordinance that has the most comprehensive benefit for our community. Urban agriculture is aligned with the City of Kalamazoo Reimagine 2025 goals, and urban agriculture has a multitude of economic, ecological, and social benefits, and we need more urban growers to fuel a local food industry ecosystem. Growing our own food in our neighborhoods is important and empowering, and it is our right and our responsibility. We think we need multi-board approval. I think we do, for the Planning Commission and for you all to approve this ordinance to pass, and we're asking for you amazing and reasonable commissioners to look favorably upon this request. We have a lot of information to provide you all about urban agriculture in cities and about the Zoo City Farm and Food Network. So that's it. Can we give y'all
Thank
these?
you.
These? Can we give you these? Okay. It's just some information.
Thank you so much. Anyone else who'd like to speak this evening?
Good evening. My name is Maddie Jordan Woods. I live at 902 West Patterson, and I am the director of the Northside Association for Community Development. I too would like to thank you for your vote of confidence in us continuing to develop our neighborhood in a way that the residents who actually live there are benefiting and providing benefit to those who are there. But I'm here today to invite you to December 17th. It's called a Northside Resident Input Meeting. It's for Northside residents, but I thought if some commissioners, city manager, or city staff, actually, we will have Rebecca Kick is going to be there because the city owns 501 North Westnedge. And I just love Rebecca because one of the things she constantly says is she wants to hear from the people who actually live in the neighborhood. So you all have a piece of property that you are taking through your brownfield. And Rebecca said, Maddie, if you guys are doing a meeting, we would like to, if you would let us, put that on your meeting time so that residents can tell us what types of businesses they would like to see in their neighborhood. So it's dinner, and it starts at 5:30. So we hope that other than Rebecca, because we know she's going to be there. She asked us to do that. But it's also to give an update. One of the things that we did with the grocery store is that it took so long to make it happen that we continued to have meetings where we would update residents and let them say, hey, this is what's going on, here's this, and there is an opportunity to partner with a group that may bring in a daycare, and if they don't, we've had 2 different groups come in and say, if you guys are doing housing, would you look at doing housing, daycare, all in one spot? We're going to ask our residents, what do you think about that on that spot? So we hope to see you. And then the save the date would be February 8th. That one is called Show Me the Money. So we will have banks. We will have someone talking about felony expungement. We will do home ownership. So we are really, really looking at how our individual residents will be able to move forward and for them to have a voice. And hope you guys will continue to ask the residents, do they really want something in their neighborhood or not? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Toby Hannah Davies, and I do live in the city. And I want to also thank you very much for your vote for the purchase agreement for the parcel on North Street with NACD. I am very proud and honored to be part of the steering committee of the Tiny Houses of Hope for the last year and a half, which are part of that affordable housing development. And I want you to know that if you have the idea that tiny houses are glorified shipping crates or just shelter from the weather with no plumbing, you're thinking about tiny houses in some other city. Our tiny houses will be so much nicer than that. You should really see the video of the tiny homes that have been built in Detroit by Cass Community Social Services, led by the Reverend Faith Fowler, who wrote this book, Tiny Homes in the Big City, and is the inspiration for our tiny houses here. If just search for Cass Community Social Services tiny homes, and you'll get to see some wonderful photos and videos and articles about what's happening right near the Lodge Freeway. You'll see how beautifully designed tiny houses can be for people who were formerly homeless. If you need evidence that people with a criminal record or a history of substance abuse disorder deserve another chance, you just need to get to know the very impressive leaders of our tiny houses of hope here in Kalamazoo. Several of the organizers of the tiny houses of hope prove every day that with decent housing and a chance to get paid for their skills and supportive services, people can shine as members of our Kalamazoo community. And one last if you would like to support our Tiny Houses of Hope, very creative, very badly needed pilot project with more than your vote tonight, your timing is perfect. Is it possible that your congregation or your organization would like to adopt a Tiny House of Hope for $25,000? Or maybe provide the appliances for one of the houses for $4,200? Any donation of any size help, and they're tax deductible. Donations, checks should be made out to NACD with Tiny Houses of Hope in the memo space. HOPE stands for Helping Other People Exceed. And the place to mail your checks is Tiny Houses of Hope, 609 West North Street, Kalamazoo 49007. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, now is the time on our agenda to hear from commissioners. Now, we did have a habit where we were going the same order every single meeting for a while. And I remember I attempted to break that up last time, but I can't remember what I did. So, what is your druthers? Do you want to go in the same order every meeting? Shall we move back and forth? Do you want it to be predictable? Do you care? Not care, not care, not care.
Perhaps you could just open it to this commissioners, and whoever is so moved to speak first can speak first. There's some advantages and some disadvantages to being the first one, and whoever and that may have different appeal to different people each time. So that's the simplest, is just open it up and not specify an order. So I just put that out there. It has no special merit other than other options.
Yes, that counted as your comment, so.
Yeah.
You're funny. I mean, that would be one way to go, or do you want a structure so you know when your time will be up? What? Get to comments. Okay, everyone wants to move along. Okay, we'll start right over here then. Mr.
Well, I guess my comments would simply be, I had the recent experience of going to visit Charlevoix and Boyne City and Traverse City, and I noticed that the drivers up there in the downtown areas will stop for you even before you step off the curb. And it's a marvelous feeling. I recommend developing that kind of courteous habit here in Kalamazoo. It's very tough on Kalamazoo Avenue and Michigan Avenue right now, but it's a great way to make pedestrians feel welcome. And I just wanted to share that experience with you, how welcome I felt in those three cities as I was walking about and shopping and looking for restaurants. That's all.
Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Knott?
Sure, thank you. So just as a reminder, tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and I know that there are several nonprofit organizations throughout the city of Kalamazoo that will be doing social media or sending out email blasts. So we all had money to go shopping last weekend, whether it was small business or Cyber Monday today. Just encouraging everybody to dig a little bit deeper and support some of our local organizations tomorrow during Giving Tuesday.
Thank you. Commissioner Prado.
I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the large number of individuals that reached out to express their opinions about our new candy canes in Bronson Park. They got my boys' seal of approval. But I wanted to just challenge everybody. So whether you felt strongly for or against the new candy canes, there are a number of ways that you can give holiday cheer to folks in our community this holiday season. And one of them I'm going to challenge folks to check out if you get a chance. If you go on Facebook and you search Christmas Gifts for Interfaith Homes, one of our commission candidates, Emily Demarest, is doing a gift drive for folks to give gifts to children to make sure every child in interfaith homes has a great Christmas this season. And so I would encourage folks, if they felt strongly one way or the other, that might be a great outlet to spread some cheer to other people. The other thing, I just wanted to echo what Gwen Hooker shared as well. But my wife and I are very excited to host a Mingles for Shingles Tiny Houses of Hope pilot project fundraiser this Sunday at Lutheran Church of the Savior. We'd love to see you, if not just to learn more about the project, but we're hoping to raise some much needed funds for the project itself. So again, this Sunday, December 8th at 11:30. And I think we mentioned this earlier as well, but the budget review process is well underway. And I'd love, most of us would echo this, we would love to hear from you, beyond just candy canes, about things that matter to you and your priorities for the community as well. I think most of us, if not all of us, will be spending a lot of time on that in the coming weeks, and so your input is valuable and appreciated.
Thank you. Commissioner Hess.
I really want to thank Chief Thomas and all of the men and women who serve us and leave their families during the holidays to help keep this community safe. I've had more than one opportunity to interact with them and have had nothing but good experiences with our people in uniform. So thank you so much to them. I echo Chris's points as well about gratitude for everything that we do here. I want to bring up Karen Chadwick and thank Karen for the work that she's doing and encourage us all to do what we can do in this community for the greater good. Karen runs the MLK Park Landscape Love Project, where she brings volunteers together to make that park, to give the landscape its dignity that it deserves. And so I really want to acknowledge Karen's work, and she's done this for years, keeping that park in a dignified manner and making sure that it reflects our values as a city. She said Sean Fletcher of our Parks and Rec Department has been a wonderful partner in that as well, so gratitude to him. And so in my reflections, I would ask that we all see where our gifts lie and what we can give back to this community on this Giving Tuesday. And thank you, Commissioner Knott, for reminding us that we do a lot of giving in this community, and it makes us all better. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes, I just want to say hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday. And as we're moving through this holiday season, I just want to lift up and keep in the thoughts and prayers of everyone who's dealing with loss right now. I just want to lift up the Guest family and the Clark family of the recent loss of their loved ones. And just everyone, while we're going through this time, this is generally a happy time, but there are those of us who are going through different things. So I just want to make sure we keep them lifted and loved throughout this time.
Thank you so much. One thing I just want to make sure that people understand, that sitting in this seat, I thought about that a lot over this past weekend when we do think about things that we're thankful for. And a couple of things that came immediately to mind for me is that I'm thankful that I get to serve with this great commission. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to a couple years of great work together. And I'm thankful that I get to have this position in the great city of Kalamazoo that is full of caring people. And if we are going to have good years in the next 2 years and get some things done, we're all going to have to work together for that. I appreciate that. With that, we are adjourned.